Super happy to be here with you, man. Like,
yeah, no, it's good.
So, like, today we're going to talk about your project as well.
Okay.
We're going to talk about mental health and a bit of business for the entrepreneurs, people that are doing it, and hopefully you can grasp a bit of information from us, from our experiences, and how you probably want to progress, because I feel like this has to be about a lot of entrepreneurship, especially with what I'm going through at the minute.
Sure, yeah.
With NatWest Accelerator and stuff like that, and it just kind of opened up my eyes, being around more entrepreneurs, being isolated and just being me, not being able to reach out to people other than yourself.
Yeah.
There's not been a lot of people, so it's been nice, and I really want to talk about that as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, could you talk about the project that you got going on currently?
Okay, yeah. So, hi, I'm Dave Furness, and a big thing, I had a pretty tough 2018 mentally. My life pretty much took a 180. Battled with depression, anxiety, some nasty thoughts, and this was from someone who had it all. If you want, again, that's what a lot of people would go along the lines of. You know, I had successful businesses, had a long-term relationship, had the house, had the car, blah blah blah. But I wasn't happy, and you know, that has led me down this rabbit hole now of and it shouldn't have come as a surprise. You know, we look at Robin Williams and Keith Flint and Chester from Linkin Park. You know, all these successful people have taken their own lives, and often you don't know why, you don't know what has, and I certainly didn't. And now I feel like, having been through it, and luckily enough been able to come out the other side and put tools and things in place to educate myself about mental health. It really has sent me down a rabbit hole, and now I think a big thing for me is helping other people. Like, mental health is a huge problem. It's, you know, suicide is the largest cause of death for men up to the age of 45. Depression is the largest disabling that's the word I'm looking for. It's the largest disabling factor for people globally currently. I think there's over 300 million people globally currently battling with depression.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it became a thing where, you know, for me, a big thing that helped with me was talking. Traditionally, men are not very good at talking about how they feel and what they're going through. And I credit Brené Brown and vulnerability as being a big thing that I felt comfortable opening up about, and encouraging me to talk. And I spoke to maybe 3-4 friends of mine when I was really going through the worst part of it. And as soon as I opened up, they opened up right back about things that they were going through. And it was at that moment I went, okay, talking is powerful at this point. I created a safe place, or what has now been, through research, and has been described as relational safety.
Yeah.
You feel safe in a relationship to open up and be yourself. And for me, that's become a theme of what I do. So again, now with my Instagram on the Dave Furness, and with my YouTube channel, just Dave Furness, I created the Let's Talk Mental Health sort of podcast YouTube series, where it's like a much more serious carpool karaoke, where it's just two people in a car going for a chat and talking about their mental health and how they feel and what they've been through and how they've coped and how they've got through things. Just basically to share the story, and to share that we all go through sad times, we all go through different things. And fundamentally, there isn't a universal fix for depression, for anxiety, for whatever that is. But there is a fix for you. And the secret is, the tool is finding what that is, and not getting disheartened if you try meditation, if you try CBT, if you try EMDR, whatever it may be, whatever modality it is that you choose. If it doesn't work for you, don't be disheartened and think that you're not fixable. It's a case of that just didn't work for you. Ultimately, there's a unresolved emotional trauma within you, and it's getting to the bottom of that, facing that, which is ultimately going to heal the root cause. You know, antidepressants work for some people, but they mask, they cure symptoms, they don't cure the cause. So a big part of what I'm doing right now is trying to educate people and spread awareness about mental health, and ultimately getting uncomfortable with it and saying we need to deal with the root cause of this depression, instead of just trying to mask the symptoms.
Cool.
It's very heavy, mate. It's very heavy to open up.
It's heavy, but it's real though. Like it's a serious thing.
It kills people, and that's the reality of it.
Most definitely, and it's just like it's become more and more noticeable. Like over like last month, 2 people have come to me and said that I know, and come to me and said, listen, like my friends like commit suicide, and I'm just like, whoa, like where is that person's mindset? And then automatically I thought to myself, what could have been done to prevent that? Who could you be speaking to? I've been learning a lot more myself about support. There's things that people go through, and then you have to support people. Some you're not really taught how to actually support people as such. You just think, oh yeah, helping people, this, that, and that's it.
So, oh yeah, me and such a body really close. If you need help, you'll ask for it. It's not always the case.
People keep it in.
That's it, and it's because there's a lot of stigma around mental health still, which is obviously a big thing that we need to try and get rid of. And we do that by talking and sharing stories and making it more acceptable for people to talk about. You know, it's to the point now where, you know, everybody has a cancer story. Everybody knows somebody who's been affected by cancer. We're getting to the point now where everybody has a suicide story. Everybody knows someone who, or certainly at least a depression story. Everybody knows someone who's been through depression or someone who's committed suicide. And it's a bad place for us to be in right now. And like I said, we the NHS, again, not slagging them at all, they do the best with what they can, but it's not enough. You know, antidepressants are on the rise and depression is on the rise. Those things shouldn't match. You know, if we're administering more antidepressants, depression should surely be coming down, but it isn't. And that's a key indicator that isn't working. So we need to do something else.
Which makes sense.
So I think there's and again we say a lot, so, oh, you know, reach out, ask for help. From someone who's been there, when you're in the midst of depression, your brain is convincing you that nobody cares. Like nobody cares about the stuff that's going on in your life. That everybody's got more important stuff going on, and your problems are nothing to them. And it isolates you. Your own brain isolates you. So as well as intentioned as people can be, like, oh, you know, reach out, ask for help, your brain is convincing you that no, that is not the thing to do. So that's why I believe that deep down, we need to give people the tools to go within themselves, to be mindful of where they're feeling. Like, don't get me wrong, feeling sad is totally allowed. It's good.
Of course.
Feeling sad is a good thing, because if you felt good all the time,
you don't know what sad is.
Exactly. Good would be your new normal, and you'd get used to that. So sad is good, because without sad, we don't know what the good days are. But it's when it gets that dangerous level of depression, we need to give people the tools and the abilities to look within themselves and go, right, where is this feeling coming from? It's like, the purpose of my life is not being fulfilled in some way, and how do I address that? And like I said, there's so many different ways of doing that. And there's not one universal answer. It's all about, right, we need to educate people to be more mindful about what they're feeling, to look at the trauma that is within them somewhere, whether it's, you know, childhood trauma, school trauma, whether it's relational trauma, whether it's, you know, corporate trauma, whatever it is, there's something going on in your life which is not being true to your purpose, or what you feel is your purpose. And that's what we need to address.
Definitely, most definitely. Obviously there isn't a thing for everyone. But what would you do if you felt like that was the first sign of like feeling depression? How would you, what would you recommend to someone to do?
So again, because there isn't really a universal fix, but the one thing that after doing, you know, hundreds of hours of conversations with people, after speaking with so many different people about this, the one constant is talking.
Yeah.
It's conversation. It's removing that stigma and feeling and being vulnerable is ultimately it. Is literally just holding your hands up, going, right, Theo, I'm feeling pretty down today.
Yeah.
I've got this going on. I'm worried about this. I'm not sure if this deal's going to go through the business. And just literally just that offloading a little bit can help. Now, on the same understanding, there has to be a reciprocation from the other person that you're opening up to. There needs to be that relational safety. But also, oftentimes, and I can't say all the time because, again, I can't profess to know what everybody's going through, but from everyone that I've spoken to, more often than not, they're not looking for a fix. Everybody wants to rush to try and fix it or give a solution. They just want you to listen, man. And that's a big thing, because as much as you may have empathy for someone, as much as you may have compassion, which are fantastic traits, you don't know what's going on in someone's head.
100%.
So more often than not, you just have to be present. You have to listen to them and let them know that they are totally valid to feel what they feel, and together you can work with them to work through it in a way which works best for them. You know, there isn't a fix, you know, a universal fix. At least there is a fix for that person, and maybe with the help of someone else, with the help of talking, getting rid of that stigma, you take away the power that this depression has over you. And yeah, that's the first thing that I would say, is that if you have the feelings of depression, and it is hard because I know your head is telling you to do the exact opposite, but it really is a case of survival for a lot of people. And it's like, with someone that you feel safe with someone who you feel that you can talk to, just let them know. You know, you don't have to go into the nitty gritty of it. You can just literally say, I'm feeling depressed. And that, you know, if that person needs to be, you know, understanding to go, okay, that's okay. You're safe. Let's talk about it. I think that's a great place to start for a lot of people.
Quality. Can you tell everyone as well, can you tell the viewers a bit more about you as well?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So sort of my background was in business, funnily enough, in more specifically e-commerce. I still currently run 2 e-commerce businesses, and yeah, that's the main focus of what my experience has been for the past 8, 9, 10 years. Has been based around working in e-commerce environments, working for companies, being a consultant, e-commerce consultant for a while, and then starting my own company. So eBay, Amazon website stuff is certainly where my knowledge is best in my area of expertise in the business world. And I think obviously the stresses, which I know you can relate to, of being an entrepreneur, of starting your own businesses, is quite tough, but you don't realize it at the time. You just get on with it because, you know, you're passionate about what it is you're trying to build, and you become guilty of not looking after yourself, sacrificing yourself for the business, basically. You know, you throw ridiculous working hours at it, your physical, your mental health can deteriorate. And I think in terms of corporate world, there's a lot of stresses involved, not only just for people who run businesses, but also people who work in high pressured environments. A lot of people are sacrificing their lives for a paycheck right now, but at the sacrifice of their happiness. And I think there's a lot of ways that you could look into that, as whether it's capitalism, is it consumerism, are we being led by marketers like myself to think that we need, you know, the latest iPhone or the newest car or a t-shirt with a Gucci logo on it for 400 quid. And it's like, you know, we buy these things to pretend or to try and buy happiness, and it works for a short period of time. But yeah, I think that's my background. I think I'm glad and I'm grateful. I'm still very much involved with e-commerce and the experience that I've had. You know, I still do speaking engagements and stuff regarding e-commerce and the entrepreneur side of things. But I do think passionately right now, my main passion is trying to help people manage their lives better, manage their mental health better when dealing in that arena.
Do you feel that social media plays a big part in it?
Absolutely. I would say that, you know, our generation right now, we were the generation, or maybe me, you're a bit younger than me. I was the generation who first had computers arrive at school. And so I sort of grew up probably like 6, 7, 8 with access to computers. So I've also grown up when Facebook became a thing. When I remember Friends Reunited being a thing for my parents. But MySpace, had a MySpace account, and Facebook came along, and now we have Instagram and YouTube and Snapchat, and TikTok is the big thing at the minute.
Yeah.
I do feel that we've been given access to these tools, and Instagram is the one which I immediately spring to right now. We've been given access to these tools, but no real training on how to decipher what is real, what isn't real.
Yeah.
I see a lot of issues with social media, and don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic tool. I've used it myself for business. It's allowed me to grow my business globally by accessing people. So again, I can't say a bad thing about it. It's allowed me to lead the lifestyle that I do. However, I think for a lot of people, we're not taught to decipher what's real and what isn't real.
Yeah.
We hear the likes of Photoshop and Facetune, making people look prettier than what they may be, or alter their body shapes to look a certain way, or be Kim Kardashian models or whatever. And I think the one go-to that I always say is Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. You end up comparing your whole life to someone else's highlight reel.
Yeah.
And that's a very dangerous thing to do. Nobody jumps on Instagram and goes, "Oh guys, then guess what? I got a flat tire today on the way to work. I'm stood in the pissing down rain."
I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You're real. Yeah. I had a blowout on the motorway. Yeah. You share that, but most people don't. They share, "Oh, I've just got a new car. I've just got a new phone. I'm on holiday in Barbados."
Yeah.
And yeah, that's lovely, Donna, but you're 1 week in Barbados. What about the 51 weeks where you're sat behind a job that you don't like, working with people you don't like, commuting to work 2 hours a day, and it sucks the living soul out of you? You don't share that, you share the highlights, which of course everyone's going to do, but people don't see that. They just see the highlight and go, "Oh, I wish I had a new car, wish I had a new phone, wish I was on holiday in Barbados." They're not seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, they're not seeing the bigger
You're
picture.
seeing like through the keyhole into someone's life. You're not seeing,
the whole room.
Yeah, you see a happy couple in the airport, but you're not seeing the argument they had the day before about her taking 1 million pairs of shoes and the case being overweight, and him forgetting to print off the boarding passes before. You're not seeing this. You're just seeing the highlights. And we need to be much more mindful that what you see on the little screen in your pocket isn't real. It's not real life for a lot of people. It's a highlight reel.
It's a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great explanation there, definitely. That's 100%.
I do think that the next generation, the kids of today, they're more savvy to this.
Yeah.
They've grown up around it. They can see what's real and what isn't. They're just like, it's not real. Yeah. So I do think it's just a generational thing. I think there will be more generational awareness with the next generation because they've seen it. They've been brought up around it. It's a bit like, us now with ads on Google. It's like, we know the first 4 are going to be ads.
Yeah.
We don't fall for that anymore.
Yeah. And then we just pass that and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I just think like what you're doing now in the mental health space is very, very, very important. There's loads of times myself having to help people that I love the most go through things, and being there for them and understanding what support is imperative.
Really is.
My thought pattern is like, we just get through things and we just do it, and we just, when things are stressful, you just get through it. It's just that's my mindset. But there is times with other people you have to really sit down and listen, and that's why I do a lot of that now with a lot of people, and I just listen, because sometimes if you can hear something, like just a little bit of something, at least you can be there to support them and listen to them, because that's the best thing is that someone open up to you.
I would say as well, there's 2 types of listening. Some people listen to reply. That's because people are predisposed to like the sound of their own voice and think that what they're going to say is the most important thing in the world, and it's going to be euphoric and it's going to solve the world's problems. It isn't. People need to learn to listen to understand. And that is one of the key tools for anyone that is with someone or with a partner who has depression. You don't need to And again, it's hard as men. Like men, it's sort of built into us to fix problems, especially in the family unit. We're the protectors, the providers, and everything else. So when someone has a problem, I need to fix it. It isn't that simple with depression, because unless you can't be in their head, you can't know what they're going through. You just have to listen. And understand that's what they're going through. I can't relate to it, but I can be present for them, and I can offer them support in whatever way that is.
And it's important. I really, really, really didn't realise it.
When I was depressed, someone said, cheer up.
Yes.
I hadn't thought of that. You know, why didn't I just cheer up? You know, it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. It really isn't that easy.
Or, you know, what have you got to be upset about? Great question. That I had so much shame and guilt. You know, I used to live in Manchester, and I'd walk down the street and I'd see homeless people, and I'd be like, and then again, the shame of me being depressed is like, what am I depressed about? This person, I've got so much going for me compared to, but then that was like a comparison. Made me feel worse. Why am I comparing myself to someone else? Whatever you're feeling is the worst thing in the world because you're feeling it. And that's what we all need to be aware of, is that, you know, regardless of, again, Robin Williams, rich, famous, loved by everybody, still committed suicide because what he was feeling was the worst thing in the world to him.
It's mad. It's just crazy seeing, like it's becoming more and more and more and more light, and
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. It's just scary when hearing like the suicides and stuff like that. It's like it's real. It's serious.
A man in the UK kills himself every 2 hours.
It's mad.
That is a crazy statistic.
Crazy, like mad, like just chips away at your soul, just like hearing that.
Because again, it's when you've not been in that place, when you're not around it. I mean, like I said, it's becoming more and more common now. So more people are hearing about it. You see it in the news. You see it when famous people, you know, are doing it because it makes the news. But you know, there's literally every 2 hours. A man commits suicide. That's just a man. Women do it as well, but men are 3 times more likely in the UK to commit suicide for whatever reason. I mean, there's a list of reasons. But, you know, you think about it that way, a man every 2 hours, so that's 12 families every day where someone's not coming home. A father, a brother, you know, a son, they're getting that phone call that they've taken. You know, and that, when you think about it in that perspective, that's powerful. It's like, okay, we need to fix this.
So getting into like pressure in business, a lot of the entrepreneurs watching this, including myself, I put a lot of pressure onto myself to perform, to be better, to grow, to elevate others, and just mainly my business just to grow and help people. I am a maniac.
I know.
I am a complete maniac. And
you're one of the entrepreneurs, which was like myself. You will work 17, 18-hour days, 7 days a week to get stuff done. Like I said, I've been there. I did it for about a year. I hit burnout multiple times. You know, and burnout's to the point where you're just exhausted, mentally and physically. And you just, one day it will happen, you just literally can't get out of bed. You'll sleep for like 12 hours.
I feel you. Plenty time.
Exactly.
And like,
you literally, that's your body saying you've hit the limit, right? Behave. But we don't. We just go, all right, reset, let's do it again. And it's mad. It's mad that we do it.
It's like you said it previously as well before this. It's like a badge that you've been there and you've got there, but then you're aware of it more when you know that you're close to that limit again.
For sure. You learn to sort of cope with it better. I remember like the first time it happened to me, I was like, I thought I had the flu or something. It's like, no, you've just been an idiot. You know, you're not looking after yourself. And again, we mentioned this off camera before, and like I said, Gary Vaynerchuk, big fan of what he does, very successful guy. You know, we both met him. But I do feel that whole narrative, now having been in a place where I hope no one else ever has to go through, but they are in increasing numbers, is that this narrative of crush it, hustle, do work stupidly hard, it's not sustainable for a lot of people, and it's doing much more detriment to physical and mental health than it's doing for a lot of people's bank balance. work smarter, not harder. Yeah, you can do both, but I mean, ultimately, what's the point in having multi-millions in the bank if you're going to be dead in 6 months?
Yeah, of course, it makes no sense.
Exactly. So we need to start reining it in a bit, being a little bit smarter about what we're doing. And like I said, for you, the pressure thing, it comes with the territory of running businesses. Like I said, you've got staff to pay, you've got bills to pay, you've got business deals to go to, you've got phone calls, all over the world at stupid hours. And it has an impact on your life, but you do it because you love it, and it's a purpose. Yeah. It's what you want to do. It's what your calling is, to build something, to give value to people. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a case of that pressure piece. Yeah. And having the tools within you to know, okay, I'm nearing the line, I need to step back a bit. It's not going to be a disaster. The whole world's not going to crumble. The business isn't going to collapse if I just take some time for me. For a day, 2 days, whatever, a week, whatever it may be. Like, you've just recently been on holiday, so it was a great thing.
I just feel like in myself, I need to take them breaks, but I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
And
because I'm going to guess the guilt kicks in.
It's the guilt, and I want to just be better. And
are you a perfectionist?
I am, and I'm not. I've learned not to be from us talking a lot.
Yeah. I was a perfectionist, and it's impossible to get there.
I've learned just put it out. Same thing with Soph. I'm like, listen, it hasn't got to be super perfect. It just needs to be good. And then we can move forward. But like, I feel like I'm really bad. Like, barely eat. Sometimes just live off a biscuit, and then the next day. And then binge or whatever, and just like stupid hours. But it's just like actually really kind of reining it in and understanding yourself and knowing, like, listen, put it this way, the time that I actually eat or stop is the time where I think, you know what, I need to see my daughter. And that's when I'm like,
that snapshot of it.
I need to eat, I need to try and go to gym, I need to do something, I need to have a break, I need to go home and see my daughter, because then I'm not doing work. Because I can actually really shut down everything. But if I'm not doing work, it's just like I'm always doing work.
I was the same. I used to feel guilty if I wasn't working. To the point where I stopped watching TV, didn't really watch Netflix. And because of that, it was one of those, say, 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, I'd be at home, and I'm not doing anything, laptop's out. I'm working.
All night long.
Exactly. And it's like, even when I'm not in the office or in an office environment, if I've got the laptop, I'm working. If I'm on the train to a meeting, I'm working. On the way back from the meeting at 10 o'clock at night, I'm working. And it's just, it got to that thing where, if I had a 9 to 5 office job, I would go home and I'd just chill out, I wouldn't feel guilty. But because I run a business, and because I'm the CEO, whatever you want to give, whatever title you want to give yourself. I never really gave myself a title. I did everything. Did what needed doing. There's always something that needs doing. You know what I mean? There's always, you could always be prepping for a meeting. You could always be working on social content. You could always be marketing a business, looking at, researching the latest stuff that's going on, looking at eBay or Amazon's latest policy changes, and whatever it is, you'll always find something to do. And that's a dangerous mentality to get into, because again, you become your work. And that, I lost my identity through that. Like, what do you do for fun? I'm like, work. I didn't have a hobby. It was what you do. And for me, I became very aware, and this is one of the big things which helped me mentally last year, was I would schedule in my Google Calendar an hour every day where I went out and walked. Got out. And that was a big thing for me. So I'm not saying it's a fix for everyone, but being mindful and getting roughly about at least 10,000 steps in a day helps. Because for too many days, I would check my phone and see the little Fit app, and my steps were in triple digits, and I was like, I've barely moved today. And that is not a good sign. So now it's like, it's not selfish, it's self-care. I make time for me. What do I need? Sometimes I need to stop thinking about meetings in the future, what I'm doing next week, if such a body is going to call, if that call went well, is that going to lead to something? I just need to get out, walk down the canal or the river or whatever, and just be like, oh, birds are singing. I can hear the river, I can hear the birds chirping, whatever it may be, and
tuning into life.
Be present, and just be open to this is me right now. I'm present, I'm existing, I'm breathing. This is my energy. This is what I'm feeling, And that was such a big thing for me. It was like hitting the reset switch daily. And that was, but I recommend people try it, but it's not for everyone.
I feel I definitely need to implement something into my routine. I'm starting to build up that routine now. Whether that's going to the gym or going for a walk or meditation or something like that. I know meditation's a big thing, and obviously it helps a lot, but I definitely feel it's needed a hell of a lot more. Again,
it's meditation has I'm a massive fan of meditation. I've done Kundalini yoga and lots of different types of meditation. Meditation, I would say, is now my go-to. Like, it's the first thing where if I feel something's not aligned properly or there's a feeling that's not great, meditation. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Literally, I can just type in, what am I feeling right now? YouTube, such and such a thing, guided meditation. 20 minutes, bang, headphones in, find a quiet space and just zone out. And that works for me. And it's definitely helped me a few times, to the point where now even people around me, close to me, will say, if I'm not my normal self, if I'm feeling off, it's like, when was the last time you meditated? And they know, they're like, Dave needs to just go and take a step back, chill, get rid of whatever's going on in his head. And that works for me. But again, a lot of people see meditation as like a monk on top of a mountain, and all that sort of stuff, which it can be. But also, like, you can literally just go and find a quiet place and just sit in silence. And let your thoughts come and go. A lot of people, try and clear your mind is very hard for people to do. It's very hard. But that doesn't have to be the goal. It can literally just be sat with your thoughts and be like, the clarity that can bring in itself is meditation. I'm a big advocate of meditation. It's, again, works wonders for me. But I've spoken to other people who just, it isn't for them. They can't do it. They can't get to that place, and that's fine. It isn't for everyone.
What do you think about time? It's like being very time conscious. It's like with me, I'm super time conscious. It's like, it's only because my phone's over there or wherever it is. It's my okay. Literally, if it was here, I'd have been like pressing it, checking time, 20 minutes, checking it again, 20 minutes. I realised it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because I'm keeping track of my time.
It can ruin your life.
But it does a lot of that. Like, I'd literally just be like here, just double checking time. I'm super conscious about it.
So when was the last time you turned your phone off?
When it was dead yesterday.
When was the last time you actively turned your phone off?
Never turned it off. It doesn't go off.
So I'd say a challenge for you is pick a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, turn your phone off, put it in the bedside table, see how long you can go.
I think I'll be able to do it.
But
I just need a notebook so I can just
that's fine. It's like using it, for that. But people, and I'm totally guilty of it. I've been guilty of it this year, and again, it's something now which I'm very mindful to do. I get caught up in checking Instagram, checking WhatsApp group messages, and Facebook and all the rest of it. It's nonsense. It's largely nonsense.
It takes up a lot of your time.
It does, and it's wasted time. So again, talking back to time as a thing, I used to be like you. I would very much micromanage my times and everything else, whereas now I'm it sounds very hocus pocusy. I'm much more like, if it will be, it will be. Like this morning, we didn't have a time for me to turn up. I just message you saying, Theo, I'm around, I'll be there in about 20 minutes. It's to the point now where even if I'm in Manchester, I don't check the train times. When I just walk to the train station, I'll get on the next one. Because time is man-made, ultimately. We all have the same hours in a day, and it's how we use them which is different. And I'm not gonna, I hate when people say, morning people are more productive than anyone else. The best time in the morning is 4 o'clock in the morning. Listen, there's only one 4 o'clock in my day, and it isn't the one that ends with AM, because I do not work well in the morning. The 9 to 5 did not suit me because I don't really kick in till about 10:30, 11. Which is ironic at the time I came to you. There's a reason for the madness. I know when I'm on my game. And it isn't that time. So, people get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've got a head start of the day. But you're in bed by 7. I'm up till midnight. working whilst you're sleeping. It doesn't matter when you wake up, when you're active, what you're doing in your day. It matters with what you do in your day, and what time, and learning what time works best for you.
Yeah.
But do I manage time like at a macro level? No, not really anymore. I do what feels right. I go off that more.
Cool. Yes, guys, I hope you gained some value from this. It's Dave Furness. Please let everyone know what your socials are so they can connect with you and speak to you.
Well, the big thing right now is obviously the mental health stuff. So on Instagram, that is the Dave Furness, and on YouTube, the account is just called Dave Furness. But again, the series that I run there is called Let's Talk Mental Health. That's also a podcast on Spotify and iTunes as well.
Solid. Guys, we're going to have loads more talks like this. Going to have Dave Furness on a lot more. We've literally just gained connection back again.
I know, yeah. It's
literally just been so much going on with business and life and stuff like that. But Dave's been there from the start, and just can see the growth of where I am. Looking, always seeing him and seeing his growth and what he's going through. But if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, please slap it down into the comment section. Like this, share with a friend that you feel like it's going to be relatable to, and people that need to hear this, because it's a very important topic. A lot of entrepreneurs and just people just in general in life, in the world, are going through this, and we just need to really push this out there and let people know that the support is there, and we want them, the people that are suffering with this, to talk about it and just open up. And
I just want to quickly add to that, mate, as well, if you don't mind. Sorry. The big thing which I get like, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counsellor, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business person, but I've been there. I've been through depression, I've been through anxiety, I can relate on a first-hand primary source level. So when speaking with people, I hear people say things like, oh, I'm not qualified to talk about mental health. Listen, I'm pretty sure Ronaldo doesn't have a degree in football, but he's done it. You know, he's got first-hand experience here, he's lived it. So again, no matter what your experience is, it could be so valuable to anybody within your network. And even just being a compassionate person, relational safety, having that safe space where people can be open, vulnerable, and talk about what they're going through is the most important thing. I would much rather speak to somebody who's been through it than someone with a degree who's read a book and passed an exam but can't relate on that first-hand level. Yeah,
makes sense.
That's just sort of what I put out there. Don't think that you're not qualified to talk about something. The more people that talk about mental health and can create those safe spaces for people, the better.
No problem.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's cool. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Take care.
See you soon, guys.